Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tori if you're new here. Today I'm taking you through the garden. We are going to do a quick little canning tutorial with some of my favorite veggies that I like to harvest on a small scale. And I'm going to flip you around and show you a garden tour. The garden is looking absolutely beautiful. My husband has been diligently out here frying the weeds. All we do is use this flame torch. It's powered by propane. I will link it in my Amazon store, but honestly it's been really helpful because the backyard has gotten super overgrown because we have been working on other projects and I just had a baby, so I've been really taking it easy, and I just wanted to bring you along, show you a little bit of a different style of video. I'm very passionate about growing our food and I would love to grow it 100% someday, but we are not there yet. So let me turn you around and show you what we have working with on our less than an acre property here. Starting in the back is our echinacea with a little cabbage moth on here. Go eat the broccoli leaves. But our coneflower always just grows really well here. I planted these when we first moved in and they come up every single year. Absolutely beautiful. We of course have sunflowers here because I usually grow them right here, and my goal is to grow about, I don't know, 150 sunflower heads back here so I can dry them out on my garage, hanging in my garage, so I can feed the chickens throughout the winter. That is my goal. I saw it somewhere and I really want to do that, but for the time being, these flowers are beautiful. I use echinacea medicinally, so really great to have in a bouquet. I think I'm going to make a fresh one here for you on film just so you can see how I do it. It's so easy to make a flower bouquet and they really do make a difference in your home. As you can see, it looks like a burn site, but yeah, my husband has taken the flame torch. He comes out here and gets all of this bindweed because really that's the majority of the issue, as well as some cypress. So that, we don't eat bindweed, we don't eat cypress. We do, however, eat some portulacas, and you can see them growing on the ground throughout our garden. I'm going to do a big harvest of that towards the end of the season, and they taste just like a green, or you can dehydrate them and drink them in a drink if you want. But here's my little pepper garden. We went through there last week and took out most of them, but we have some new flowers, so that's very exciting. Some beautiful flowers doing great in this organic mix from Walmart. Someone on the dirt bike. Sorry, I am kind of jealous of that. We had dirt bikes growing up and I miss them. And then I went through and got my pineapple sage this morning, but I think I do have a few more sprigs in there to put in our bouquet. I'm going to take you around here. I had big plans for this space, but I ended up just leaving it and kind of giving myself a break. We have our zucchini and squash and pumpkin coming through in this bed. If you're new here, I took some chicken fertilizer, put it on top of here, and wow, that did the trick. I did that 2 weeks ago. If you were here, I can't remember, and things are looking great now. We have tomato coming through, spinach, vinca vine is even coming back. We have our beets over there and the marigolds that guard the garden, is what I like to say. And then over here are our beans. We had 28 plants germinate, 28 seeds, and these were all, 28 beans. They were all from the grocery store. That was another little project I did. So we're doing good. I'm going to just let them go. I don't think I'm going to put anything for them to trellis. They are doing just fine. And then we have that sunflower in the middle. I let grow. It had fallen over and the roots had broken, but sunflowers are so resilient and amazing, and yeah, I really love them in the garden. The corn here, I think I'm gonna have my husband just chop it, give it to the chickens, or I could literally do it right now if I wanted to, but they had plenty of greens today. So this is just a patch that I'm giving up on. It was kind of random that it did come through here, but I do see some corn in the weeds there, so I don't know, we'll see. Most of it is feed corn though. And then my roses, my usual crimson roses, have just gotten out of control. They did not bloom this year. I think I cut them wrong, or it's just not the year for them, but usually they're beautiful. And then irises are gone, of course. I've been pulling some of my tomatoes that got some blossom end rot, and then some of them just didn't look good. So I have some new ones coming up. Some tomatoes over here, but majority, they're doing laps. Majority are behind me. I have some marigolds here, sweet potato, I have some beautiful basil, and then some nasturtium. I just made some infused salt with nasturtium leaves, and we use these for our salads. They're really tasty, or you can bake them into pastas and make them like fancy flour pasta. So I've been loving that. I have some strawberries that will probably do good next year, some tomatoes as well. Then I have some onions. I never grow really large onions. That's fine with me. We do go through onions, but costs for onions are just super cheap. I don't know. I don't really focus on them, so they're about ready. Some of these are really ready to just come up. I did pull one up. It was very small anyways, and this is what it looked like. So I don't know. I don't see us getting large ones, but we'll see. Sometime I'll do a little harvest basket for you all, and that's just when you go through your garden and pick up anything you can. So this is what it's looking like. We of course want it to look a little nicer for resale value, so I will get to it when I get some energy back. But we have some more potatoes coming through, and then we have our chaotic carrot garden is what I'm going to call it. We have some lettuce coming through, as well as some arugula, curly kale, and then all these little guys. I just bring them to the chickens. They really enjoy those, so not a problem. Then I had some thistle come through. I harvested some of the thistle, and it's really great for medicinal teas and such. I have my sunflowers here that I planted with y'all on top of our mulch. And then I have my volunteer tomato plants. This is where I used to feed the chickens in the winter time. So all of those tomatoes that my head hen Dolly loves. Oh my gosh. Let's make a tally. That's 3 times I've been interrupted. But anyways, yeah. She really loves a lot of these tomatoes. Some of these are Campari tomatoes, which I enjoy, and then some of them are Romas back here. So yes, very interesting breeds of tomatoes. I don't remember what I ate in the winter time, but apparently it was a lot of tomatoes. I have my chamomile coming strong here. This is honestly the only plant I need, because I just keep pulling it and then it just keeps coming. And then over here, we went through our peas. So we're good on that. We don't have any more peas for the season. Honestly, I don't focus on peas, but I should, because we do eat a lot of it. I do have some of my sweet meat squash here, and then if I come through, I have my corn, and this was my Three Sisters method if you're new here, and that's a really great way to plant these 3 crops. You can look into that on your own, but the squirrels had another plan for me and they moved some things around. But the squash is doing great with my Florida weave. I come in and out probably every day and weave some of these vines up the trellises, but they really do a great job of doing it on their own. It's such a interesting variety of squash. So I do have some pumpkins coming through. I have a dark green pumpkin coming through over there. Squash bugs I see every now and again, and honestly I let them be. I overplanted for that reason, and I planted crops around it so it could be a deterrent. But that's just something that I do for pest control because I can't always be out here. And I think that's it. We do have some herbs in the front of the house, but that is just my kitchen garden. So dill, basil, sage, things of that nature. I do have more chamomile out there, and I've just been really enjoying the amaranth as well. I save amaranth seeds just kind of like quinoa. It's kind of like a green. So we are going to head inside. I have a harvest basket in there, and we are going to get going on some really delicious zucchini relish. That is my second canning recipe always of the season, and I am right on track. I just wanted to show you our garden. We are just loving it right now. The kids are having a good time outside, and we are enjoying our summer. We hope you are too. Okay, now that we've had breakfast and we made our bouquet, we are getting started on our zucchini relish. Please remember, I will just type out the recipe for you in the description box. I am following a ball canning recipe combined with a Pennsylvania state Grange recipe. And I do have to put a disclaimer here. You need to do your research before you are preserving food in this way, because it's really not about the recipe. It's about making this food shelf stable in a safe way. So you really need to be confident in that. But with that being said, I don't want you to be afraid of this, especially when you're water bath canning. Just really make sure you are getting your acidities and your sugar levels correct, and you should be just fine. But I do have to make that disclaimer. And then another thing that I wanted to say, I've gotten comments recently that I'm very quiet in my videos. And yes, I'm soft-spoken. I've been that way my whole life. I don't see how I'm going to change unless I start shouting at people. That is just my demeanor. I also typically have a newborn baby sleeping next to me. So my suggestion is to turn up your volume. I apologize if it bothers you, but maybe this isn't the channel for you if you can't hear me. Going back to the recipe, we have zucchini in here, we have onion, and we have 1 cucumber. And I typically make zucchini relish because I don't get that many cucumbers. And if I do get pickling cucumbers, I'm making pickles with it. So this is what I like to do with my first set of zucchinis. And what I like to do is just chop it to whatever desired chop you want it to be. I like mine on the thicker side. I always mix mine with mayo, and it goes on fish tacos. My son and I are the only ones that eat this, so I made 6 little jars of this. And because last year we went through 5 and then we had 2 bags in the freezer that are still in the freezer, so I think we will have plenty here. And I'm just going to be more open about that canning pantry since we are planning on moving. So I wasn't trying to touch it this winter, but this winter obviously I will be, because I don't want to be hauling those cans across the country. So what I put in that brine is about 2 cups of sugar. I did a half a cup of water, and then I just took some of the Miss Wages dill pickling seasoning. And the ball canning recipe just calls for all the seasonings that are in that minus the turmeric, and I like to put that in mine. You can add it for color or you can add it for its benefits, but it's not going to hurt your recipe. So what I'm doing here is pressing out the water, and I am getting all of that moisture out so I can have a crisp relish. Okay, I have my brine boiling, and what I like to do is put the relish directly into it, and then I move that to the back burner, and then I start my water bath canner because it takes so long for that water to boil. So right now I have washed off jars here, as you can see, and then while the water is boiling, I just pop those jars in there. I don't do the lids in lid tightener because you're not supposed to technically, but honestly I don't really think it will make a difference, but that is what I like to do. So remember, can at your own risk. I have to keep these little reminders here so I don't get in trouble.
You say you don't wanna get in trouble, that you're doing fine cause you got me. I don't wanna break your little bubble, but you gotta wake up to reality. Cause I can see in your eyes, your head is full of dreams. Tears aren't proof of failure, you just gotta let them flow without judge. There's so many ways to be happy. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready. You just gotta trust.
So now that my jars are out of the water bath canner, what I'm doing is just filling them up with all of the relish mixture here, and I'm leaving 2 inches of headspace at the top of it. If you went above that, you probably won't get a good seal. It could happen, but it is suggested that you leave 2 inches of headspace. And then I am just adding in some of that brine with the relish, and you will see one of these jars has a little bit more brine than the rest of them.
You're able to be happy. You can do whatever you like.
Now I'm taking my little tool here and just getting the air bubbles out of the sides. I don't do this often solely because I forget to, but for the sake of the video, I made sure I was going through every step for you guys, and I hope it's helpful. So just go around there, try and get all the air bubbles out of there, and yeah, just do your best. That's honestly all I can tell you when it comes to canning. Just do your best. Now I'm taking some vinegar on my paper towel here, and I'm wiping my rims just in case there's anything on there. Again, all about the seal. You want this to seal. It's okay if it doesn't, then you'll just have some extra to eat for the week, but it's important to know that you should be having some sterile workspace. So I always keep brand new towels out for myself, and I make sure I have my hands washed, obviously, but I'm trying not to touch a lot of these items. So this is my magnet tool. It just puts the lids on there. It doesn't have to be fancy. You could lift them on there, honestly. But now I'm taking my lids, and you will see I'm having a bit of a struggle with the Country Classic lids. I find that their lip is a little different, so typically you don't want to use any wrist action when it comes to tightening these, but I feel like I didn't have a choice with those Country Classics. I got mine at Tractor Supply. If you were here a few weeks back, let me know if you've had the same, not issue, but like the same thing happen to you. So I'm putting it in the water. Make sure all of your jars are covered. I try and go 3 inches above, and your time does not start now unless your water is boiling. So my water wasn't boiling. I have Millie here and I'm checking. This was about 15 minutes later and my water started boiling. So I'm giving you the thumbs up. The recipe calls for these to be processed for 10 minutes. I always go 15. I don't know why, and I've always gotten a crunchy relish. So don't worry about overcooking in these, because it honestly didn't make too big of a difference. So I'm going to let them cool for a while, 8 to 12 hours, but overnight is ideal, and I'm gonna hope that they seal. We're gonna pop out for some coffee, and we just came back. This was probably 10 hours later, and I am pulling on the lids to see if they've sealed. You don't need those rings. If anything, they are a hindrance, and I enjoy just looking at the jars like this. So you don't need those rings over there. It's suggested that you don't keep them around those jar lids. So here they are with our beautiful bouquet. Again, recipe linked in the description. Alrighty, my friends, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me in the garden as well as the kitchen. If you enjoy videos like this, we are typically doing it on our vlog channel if you want to head on over there and subscribe. But I wanted to just throw this in here because I used to do it all the time on the channel, and I know there are a lot of newbies here. So definitely check out all the links in the description box. They are all down there for your leisure. I promise. I just find so much information out there and I want to share it with you. Some of them are affiliate links, but some of them are free resources to get out there in the garden and just get out there on your prepping journey. Never too late to start, growing your own food. Of course, we all have our seasons, and where we live really matters when it comes to growing certain crops, but I think it's fun to experiment. So just have fun in the garden. As always, stay adventurous, stay creative. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everyone.